Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, and then make predictions for next week's top 5. And this video is a day late because I was wrapping up my theater production of Annie. And if you don't like that, well, you can go fuck. Anyways, let's go over what happened last week. I predicted that number 1 would be The Fate of the Furious, number 2 would be Unforgettable, number 3 would be The Boss Baby, number 4 would be Beauty and the Beast, and number 5 would be Born in China. And I got only 1 out of 5 of my predictions right, which actually was kind of surprising to me. So let's go over what happened. My obvious first only choice was Fate of the Furious, which made $38 million this weekend, and a lot of people might be concerned, oh no, it dropped from like a $98 million to a $38 million. Most of the time these movies have dropped down from around like a 60% or a 55% drop, but they usually still make a lot of money, especially since it apparently, and I didn't even know at the time, but apparently it broke the record for highest opening weekend worldwide, not domestically, but worldwide. It broke the record for highest one, which is surprising for me that Fast and Furious 8 was the one to do it, but that's still pretty good. This movie was a lot of fun, and on the domestic chart, it is at $163 million right now, and on the worldwide chart, it is at $908 million. So it's already almost at $1 billion, which got there a lot faster than Beauty and the Beast, if you want a comparison. So that's pretty impressive for this movie, and it's actually pretty well deserved since it was a pretty fun time. Number 2 was The Boss Baby, which I hear isn't a fun time, but kids are still forcing their parents to see it anyways, and this movie is still making more than Kubo and the Two Strings. Never mind, it made $12 million this weekend, and it adds to a domestic total of $136 million, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $359 million, almost at $400 million. This probably means it's going to get to $500 million at some point, which means we might get a sequel to The Boss Baby, and you might be saying, oh, that can't be the case, but look at what happened with Trolls. At first, they didn't announce it, but then they announced, hey, 2020, mark your calendars, Trolls 2, so maybe we'll get The Boss Baby 2s. I don't know, I haven't seen it, but most likely they could happen. Number 3, we have Beauty and the Beast, which made $9 million. That adds to a domestic total of $470 million. And on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $1.100 billion, which is fantastic for this movie. It will get outpaced worldwide for Fast and the Furious, but domestically it is still the highest grossing film of 2017, which is pretty dang impressive, and Fast and the Furious probably won't be able to beat it for that. Worldwide, yes. Domestically, no. So it got that going for it. Number 4 was Going in Style, which made $4.9 million, and that adds to a domestic total of $31 million, but on the worldwide chart, it was able to get to $50 million, so it doubled its $25 million budget, which I honestly didn't expect it to be around this long. I thought it was going to leave the top 10 for sure, but it's still here. So that tells you how much I know about this. Moving on to number 5, a movie that's also still here and still trudging along, even though it's kind of disappointing. Smurfs: The Lost Village, which made $4.8 million this weekend. That adds to a domestic total of $33 million, which is a huge bomb domestically, but on the worldwide chart, it is at $134 million. So it was able to double its $60 million budget, and it's working on tripling it, which it probably won't because of how poorly it's been doing, but at least they got their budget back and doubled it and all that junk. Any more Smurfs movies to come? I'm not sure. But number 6, a movie I thought was going to open at number 5, was Born in China. I thought for sure this movie would be able to sneak on in there because besides Fate of the Furious, there really hasn't been much like new for people to get excited about. But it only made $4.79 million at the box office this weekend, and on the worldwide chart, it is sitting at $14 million. Now, I don't know what the budget of this thing is because Wikipedia nor Box Office Mojo will tell me, but maybe it's doing good. I'm not sure. But really, these Disney nature films don't really make a lot of money. They make like around the $4 million range, but I was thinking that it would be enough to get into the top 5 at least, but it wasn't because Smurfs and Going in Style did better than I expected. At number 7, however, was a movie that completely caught me off guard because I expected it to get at number 2, but it didn't, and that would be Unforgettable, which made $4.78 million this weekend on a budget of 12. I thought for sure, since stalker movies like When the Bow Breaks and Obsessed and No Good Deed have been kind of popular, that this movie would be able to sneak on in there, but it didn't. which honestly is so shocking. Maybe people are still upset at Katherine Heigl for being a huge beche or something, I don't know, but hey, at least this movie isn't doing so well to the point where people are like, we need to make more stalker films. I think this is the one where they're going to be like, okay, we need to tone it down a little. So at least we got that going for us. At number 8, we have Gifted, which made $4.5 million this weekend. That adds to a domestic total of $10 million, and I'm thinking that's good since this is a more low-budget film compared to other films from Mark Webb, who did the Amazing Spider-Man movies. So I'm assuming that it is doing okay as far as low-budget movies go, because it only has a budget of $7 million here, and I don't know how much actually went into marketing or something like that. I'm assuming everything is okay here. At number 9, oh boy, The Promise. Now, I made a prediction last weekend that this movie and Phoenix Forgotten and some other movie wasn't going to be like big enough to be able to make it into the top 5, and I was right, and it got all the way down here. It made $4.09 million this weekend, a movie that cost $90 million. Barely no one knows what it is, but it got released in theaters, and it only made $4.09 million. That is a huge disappointment for this thing. I mean, wow, that is sad. But then you got number 10, which is The Lost City of Z, which is another kind of like movie that not too many people have heard about. It only made $2 million this weekend on a budget of, I don't know, because Wikipedia nor Box Office Mojo will tell me, but I'm assuming this thing cost a lot of money. It seems like they went to a lot of exotic places that cost a lot of money to get there, and only being like making $2 million isn't very good for it, but I don't know. But anyways, it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5, and I'm going to predict that number 1 will be The Circle, and number 2 will be The Fate of the Furious, once again making a lot of money, and number 3 will be The Boss Baby, number 4 will be Beauty and the Beast, and I think number 5 will be Slight. I think it'll be able to sneak on in there, because usually the Blumhouse Tilt movies don't make a lot of money, but from what I'm seeing from this weekend, I'm expecting the drops to be enough for Slight to get on in there. So what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave it in the comments below, and if you got your predictions right for this week, you're going to get a shout out right now. Unless you didn't get it right, then I'm sorry, and as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.